We always like to see real applications leveraging the various platforms we talk about here on the IoT Show, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. This is the third of a mini-series we had with Acuity Brands, and today Andrew is here to tell us everything you need to know about an application he's been working on that allows tracking assets in a very smart way and that leverages Azure Digital Twins. And that's today on the IoT Show. Hi everyone, this is the IoT Show. I'm Olivier, your host, and today we'll talk about an actual real-life solution that leverages digital twins, and for that we have Andrew from Acuity Brands with us. Hey Andrew, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Olivier?
I'm great. Enjoying being in the studios over here. So you're remote. Where are you calling us from?
I'm actually calling from Acuity Brands' headquarters in Atlanta.
Okay. Well, so who is Andrew? Who are you? What are you doing at Acuity Brands?
Great question. I'm actually a software engineering manager at Acuity Brands, but a little bit more specifically, I work in an organization with Acuity Brands called Atrius, which is within its Intelligent Spaces group. So we're heavily invested in the IoT space.
Got it. So what is the application you're working on? We'll get into the details of why you are on the IoT Show here and why Microsoft IoT Show. But before we get into that, tell us a bit more about Atrius Locator. What is that application about?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Atrius Locator is the primary application that me and my team work on, and it's really centered around one primary thing. We enable organizations to track and trace their assets throughout their space utilizing hardware asset tags or mobile SDKs. This allows people to be confident in their ability to optimize how their spaces and their assets are used.
Okay, so can you, without giving customers' names, give us some examples of the types of application? Because asset tracking in general, okay, are there specific things that comes to mind? I think you have a nice example about your own usage at Acuity Brands of the solution. But in general, what kind of scenarios do you see your customers looking into for that?
Yeah, so we have a ton of different use cases that customers have found value out of. One of them is the use case of optimizing an industrial scenario, like a warehouse or a factory. We can help optimize the efficiency of these spaces by helping people understand where their tools and their high value assets are and have been. But another one that you might not immediately think of is a retail store. We can help retail stores understand where their customers have visited and where the most high value areas within a retail establishment are. So we have a ton of, and there's a lot more use cases than just that, but those are the first two that come to mind.
Okay. And so this seems to be something that customers traditionally would have been developing themselves, right? Why would one want to use an actual application or solution that needs to be adapted to their own needs? Why would customer come to Atrius Locator?
That's a great question, and it actually perfectly leads into this next slide I have. Okay. So at Atrius, and like a lot of other software development companies, we kind of think about developing software in an agile approach, where we start at a crawl, and then we move to a walk, and then finally we're running, in terms of starting with easy solutions and building value over time on top of that. And at Atrius, we kind of take it one step further, and we translate this into 3 steps: sense, think, and act. Locator, the product that I'm going to show today, is actually transitioning from the sense phase to the think phase. And the primary reason that we can get to this think phase is because we have a ton of data all within a shared context. So when we're solving problems as humans, we don't realize how much data we're taking in from all of our senses. We can see things, we can hear things, we can tie all this data together quite naturally. And sometimes it's really easy to forget how much data and shared context we need to provide to our systems to be able to make those same high fidelity conclusions. And that's one of the advantages we bring at Atrius, is we're able to bring together all of these different data sources and correlate them together to really allow our systems to think and understand the space beyond rudimentary levels.
Yeah, so it's very much about data in context, right? So when we
Yeah.
when we talk about the industrial changes and digital transformation of companies, they need to sense their environments to extract insights and take action. But you are in the area of making sense of the data, allowing for the collection of and the ingestion of all that data and making sense of it. And as a matter of fact, you're using Azure Digital Twins, which is one of our services. And I wanted to ask you a bit more about what's going on under the hoods. So we had a couple of your colleagues coming already discussing Acuity Brands, discussing the platform that leverages and it is built on top of Azure Digital Twins. And explain, the reason why Acuity Brands went on and uses Azure Digital Twins as a service. What I would like for you to tell me is, for you as an app developer, what is Azure Digital Twins as a service, giving you? What is the advantage of using a PaaS service like this one to implement something that eventually you could have built yourself using relational databases and your own software, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, the advantages that we're getting from Azure Digital Twin come in a ton of different forms. So one of the first advantages, which you wouldn't normally think of, is actually giving us the ability to unify our data model and our ontology, representing the extremely complex reality of our physical spaces. Some background information about Atrius is that we actually banded together from a bunch of different startups that were acquired by Acuity Brands. And all of our startups had different ways that they were representing the physical spaces. And using the digital twin allowed us to come together and unify our ontology so that we could take all of these disparate data sources and start to connect them together. So that's the first one. And that definitely shouldn't be overlooked. It's huge. The second thing is the digital twin provides a very flexible and traversable structure to give our systems insight into all of that shared context that we can store in the digital twin. So having a ton of data is useful, but if you don't have a way to make sense of it and traverse it and understand it, you can't actually use it. The last piece is it provides a ton of flexible different access patterns to enable rapid development of many different application types. We don't pretend to know all of the problems that our customers want to solve. And in order to provide the most value to our customers, we need to be able to identify problems and quickly come up with solutions to these problems. And having the digital twin, that again, it allows us to explore the data, make sense of it, that allows us the ability to come up with lots of different solutions to complex problems.
Nice. And just to be fair, I mean, Azure Digital Twins is one of the digital twins platforms that are available out there. So we're glad you're on Azure, and that certainly is one of the factors that made you pick this one compared to other ones. Let's look at the actual solution, the actual application. I want people to realize how all this discussion about connecting environment turns into reality in an actual application.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to switch over to a live view of an actual Acuity Brands warehouse. So what you're seeing on my screen is a map of an Acuity Brands warehouse that's probably about 20 minutes away from me right now.
Okay.
So what we have on the screen, the main view is the map. And then right on the left here, I have a list of a bunch of different golf cars that are showing. Yep. And these golf cars are represented by pins on the maps. Now, it might not look like it, but this is pretty live data. So we got an update from this golf car about 12 minutes ago, but when things are moving around, we get updates every couple seconds. So it doesn't look like many of these golf carts are moving around right now, but if we take a look at the path, I was about to say, if we take a look at the path of this golf car, we will have seen it moving in the last hour, but I must have picked the wrong one. Let's see.
The joys of doing real demos with real data.
Yeah, I thought I had looked ahead of time to pick one out that was already moving, but it looks like I didn't find the right one. I think it's golf car number 4. Okay, there we go. Yeah, nice. So we can see in the last hour, this thing has moved all around the warehouse. Yep. And we can expand our visibility of where this thing has moved into the last 8 hours, last 24 hours, to really understand where this thing has been.
Yep. So we see a nice map here, and you can track real time. just to help our viewers here, who are you? What hat are you wearing right now? Are you an operator? Are you the manager of this facility? What kind of people will be using this kind of interfaces?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the use case I'm thinking of right now is maybe a facility manager or supervisor, and I'm trying to find a specific golf cart. As you can see, we have a bunch of different golf carts on the map. I might be looking for maybe specifically golf car number 6 because I don't know where it is. It hasn't been checked into the area that normally golf cars are supposed to be. So we need to find it because we're ready to finish up for the day. So I can just click on it and find exactly where it is. And we can see that it was there 13 minutes ago, and it's probably not moving right now. But from there, I might wonder, okay, I know where the golf cart is. Now let's figure out who's closest to it so that they can go grab the golf cart and bring it back to the golf car storage area. And for that, I can actually change what I'm looking for and maybe look for people on the ground to see who's closest to it so that they can actually go grab the golf cart. Now, in this case, I can't actually show real location of live people, but this is some sample data that we have in here specifically to demonstrate this. This person is probably as close as possible to that golf cart. So I can radio them. I can click on them and say, oh, that's guest 5. Let me radio them, have them go grab the golf cart.
And that's an interesting thing you're showing here. Digital twins are sometimes perceived when we talk about the use in the context of metaverse solution as something that allows you to visualize. But I would argue that this application demonstrates that you can interact with that data, huge amount of data, complex data, data that puts items or twins in relationship with each other in a way that is very intuitive for the operator in that case, right? Because the person doesn't have to understand a lot of things. They know their business, their operations, and they're able to interact with very complex data in real time through that UI that you deliver that is backed up by a complex digital twin platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we really find value from. I drew this correlation myself because I have eyes and I can see that, well, this golf cart's over here and this guest is over here. They look like the closest person there, but there's nothing stopping us from drawing this correlation programmatically by just calculating the distances between these various points so that we can write a query to say something along the lines of, find me the nearest guest to this specific golf cart.
Yeah. And it's interesting how you're describing that kind of query because you're doing it in a very natural way. And I know for a fact, but our viewers might not know, but that it translates into a query that is as simple as what you just described to extract the data you need from digital twins and the different databases that are behind that. So I think you have another scenario to show us with the application.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the other feature that we actually recently just added is something we call zones. So I just turned them on. They're colorful polygon overlays on top of the map that allow you to slice and dice your map up into a little bit more granularity than just an entire warehouse. So we have all these different zones to define specific areas. So we might say that this purple zone down here in the corner is the golf car loading bay. And again, as a supervisor, I might say, all right, there is only one golf car in the golf car loading bay right now. They're all supposed to be there, so I can take an action to make sure that all of the golf cars get back to, the golf car loading bay at the end of the day. And you can view this as just a simple optimization of the space, but you can also view this through the lens of safety. Maybe you have a lot of really high value assets that are in this zone up here, and you might want to monitor this zone so that if any asset were to leave that zone, you get actively notified. And that's some of the cool stuff that we've got going on coming up.
Nice.
That's what we're going to be working towards.
It triggers a question here, which is the automation part of it. Can the Atrius Locator app today allow a customer to trigger actions? Like if you set up a geofence zone, I want an alert to be triggered to send a message to that person in particular over email or over Teams, something like that. Is this something the app supports today?
That's actually not something we directly support today, but it's absolutely something we're building towards, and it's something that you can build on top of our REST APIs that we expose in addition to this UI if you wanted to build it yourself. So we're definitely of the mindset that things that are doable via this UI should also be doable programmatically to ensure our customers can build solutions on top of us. And that's really what the Atrius platform is about.
Okay. So additional question actually kind of related. How does it look like for a customer to take on this application? It seems like there's some customization needs to be going on, right? Adapting your application to their needs. Could be just the graphics here that you showed us for that facility. So any customer will have their own one. And maybe you have golf cart, they have something else that they want to track. So how much work is that for a customer to adapt?
That is a great question. I think it actually highlights the flexibility that our platform has. So we have tons of different options ranging from how you want to track your devices all the way down to how you want to present your map. The map we're looking at right now is actually a very high fidelity map that was taken from CAD designs of this warehouse. Now, you actually don't need to be this high fidelity about the map that you're using if you don't want to. We can also accept just simple images of what your space looks like. It's really up to how much fidelity you want out of your map. In a similar vein, all of the zones that we're seeing here are completely customizable by the user. So these are zones that we just created because we're having fun in this map. But as a user, you get to manually define any of these zones that you want by drawing them on top of the map here. Again, tying back to the whole anything you can do in the UI, you can do from an API. You can also submit the geometry for all of your zones to our REST API so that you could set up some kind of automated programmatic integration with all of these zones. And then last, with the actual device tracking itself, we have a couple different options there. The first one is we actually sell Bluetooth hardware tags that can be deployed to the site. And these tags are automatically assigned to a category of thing when they first start sending data. So you can buy our tags and have them automatically registered in here with, oh, this is a shopping cart, or this is a stocking cart from the back of the retail store. And then if you want to get really involved with how you send location data to us, you can actually use our native mobile SDK within your own mobile app that will report position information for any mobile device that has installed that application to our backend and put into the digital twin.
Nice. I like the way I like to tell that story that we, Microsoft, provide a platform that our partners build a platform on, right, which is your case. And like within Acuity Brands, not only you're building platform, but you're building apps on top of that that customers can adapt to their own needs. So everyone is adding value at all layers. We as Microsoft, we're not providing the whole end-to-end thing, but we do work with partners like Acuity Brands in order to have end-to-end solutions built by professionals for the area they are experts in, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's so important about providing so many different ways to get value out of the platform. Just like the digital twin provides so many different ways for us to understand our space and get that shared context and traverse it, we try to offer a similar concept in that, however much effort you as the customer wants to put into making this product work for you, it can be as little as you just buy our hardware tags and stick them on the devices you want to track, up to you want to spend time in creating a mobile SDK to track any mobile devices that you have in your space.
That's awesome. Andrew, great perspective on digital twins and how it's used and how you can build an application based on that. Can you tell us what should our viewers go do now if they want to learn more about the Locator app and Acuity Brands?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the first things you can do is check out the Acuity Brands website or atrius.com to learn a lot more about our products. Locator is just one of them. We have a lot of different products that utilize the same contextual information concept. You can also check out I know there's like 2 previous IoT shows with my colleagues on there. You can check those out and hear what they have to say about it. Both have a lot of really cool insight to give. And then lastly, we are Azure IP co-sell ready. So you can go check out our applications like Atrius Building Insights, Atrius Locator, and Navigator in the Microsoft App Store.
Awesome. Andrew, thanks a lot. And well, I hope to see you guys again on the show, because these 3 episodes that we had of the IT show were great. Lots of learnings, and it's great to see how our platform's going to help you achieve your goals and customers at the end achieve theirs as well. So thanks a lot, Andrew, for this one. See you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Happy to come back anytime you'll have us.
Definitely. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you soon. Bye.